The time is nigh. Open up your eyes to see the signs of the times. Got to be wise to all of their lives. Look to the skies from where my help comes. Wake up, got to wake up from the slumber. Don't let them pull you under. Rise up of the water. Never let them wrestle you into the mire.
Hi, greetings. Welcome to Politically Incorrect. Greetings in the name of His and Her Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I, Empress Rosera Menin. One perfect balance, y'all already know. Well, today's Magnificent Monday. Again, welcome. Where we get it correct, if we're not correct, feel free to correct us. I sincerely want to apologize in advance for tonight's programming. It is going to probably be a little touching for some folks. Nevertheless, that is why we are
news for the people in real time.
Politically incorrect. Real news for the people in real time. So I'm going to give you some time to go tell a friend and tell a friend. We're going to run a little intro. And yeah, tonight will be that kind of night. We have some messages from none other than Chris Sickler. Can you believe that? Chris Sickler has officially made Politically Incorrect. And so that ought to be interesting. We're going to take a look down memory lane to recognize if what he was telling us was prophecy, because it almost, when you think about it, man, it's like, did we miss something? And yeah, we're going to take a look at that. We're going to discuss some Owen Arthur. Yes, we're going to touch on Mr. Owen Arthur, the untouchable. We're going to touch on that. And we're going to look at some other stuff, including, and I really hate to say this, because I really probably shouldn't even touch on this, but Stephen Lashley had something to say about crime in Barbados. I really want to take a look at this, and this is personal. This right here is personal. So Stephen Lashley, yeah, this is personal. He got the mitigated gall to say something. This little, anyhow, like I said, man, we're going to touch on that. And there was something else I got to touch on. Anyhow, it'll come up. Oh, yeah. So they're talking, remember we talked about these zippy taxis, and somebody asked the question that these zippy taxis going to be the way to replace, PSVs when you can't get where you're going. Somehow, I don't know, because apparently now they're saying they want to cut off the time early for some routes. So if you can't get a bus to get home, what are you going to do? Call Zippy. I don't know. You cannot make this stuff up, family. You can't make it up. Anyhow, go tell a friend and tell a friend, Politically Incorrect up and running. And that is what it is. And that is what it is. In the meantime, let me just drop a tune.
Greetings, family. This is Indra, and you are watching Politically Incorrect. Politically Incorrect. Yeah. Politically Incorrect. Real news for the people in real time. Politically incorrect. Reality from a man royal elected, time to get in place for real news for the people in real time.
That's right, real news in real time. I want to say special greetings to Sexy D all day, every day. Greetings to you, family. Greetings also to Tim Ward. Tim, good night, Tim. How you doing? I also want to shout out those folks that I met in Emerald City this weekend. Listen, man, I can't even go anywhere now. It's like I stopped to ask one guy a question, and he said, I know that voice. It's like, oh, man, really? Yeah, you that fella, right? I'm like, oh, boy. So shout out to all my Philippian people. Emerald City experience was really, really good. It was good. Did some shopping up there. Also did some shopping at Trimart. Got some really good value on some stuff. Folks, I don't know where you've been shopping, man, but yeah. It's been good stuff. Got my cappuccino, so I'm happy about that. Anyhow, we're going to get into it tonight too. Jal, I see you too. Greetings to you too, family. Monica, hello and good night to you. Greetings. I actually got a song by the mighty Gabby. It's a vintage song, and I can't even wait to play it. So you got to stick around. But it's classic. This is a classic. Plus two, I was doing some research and I realized there's a particular song that you cannot find anywhere. Like I said, it's gonna be a little touchy, man, but we're gonna have to touch it because yo, Sean, what up? What up? What up? Greetings, family. King Alfred. Greetings to you too, family, the whole family. Maria Santana. Yeah, greetings, Maria. Good to see you. Really good to see you as always, man. Good night, family, to you too, Maureen. Had you in thoughts earlier, man. Maureen said we can handle it. Yeah, but no, Maureen, wait, hold on a minute. It ain't the politically incorrect family I worry about. I know we can handle it. It's the ones that, is the other ones, man. And again, I do this out of love. We can't pretend that we don't know what happened and just go along with it. Nah, we dealing with this thing firsthand. Let me get that out of the way. So that's how we're gonna do this too. Greetings to you too, Nubian. Greetings, family. Jackie, we see you. We see you. Tyrone, I see you too, family. Peace and blessings. Daffodil and the whole garden, the whole family of flowers. Greetings to you too. Nighttime, night rise, family, all day, every day. All right, well, look, because we ain't dealing with a lot of time, we got some stuff to drop. We're going to just get right to it. I'm telling you the early, I don't even know how to approach tonight because I know it's going to be rough. Got some notes right here, but we're going to get to it. So let me start first of all with the one thing I definitely would like to get out the way as quickly as possible. And that would be the comments that were made by none other than the young man by the name of, this is the one right here. Yes, this it? Yeah, this is it right here. Stephen Lashley. Now, like I always tell y'all, I mean, we go back. When I say we go back, I mean the Barbados Youth Action Program. We did a lot of work in Barbados. Let me go and share the screen real quick. In fact, hold on a second. Let me drop the number on the screen for those who want to tell a friend to tell a friend. Make sure you go and share the link. I was told tonight specifically, tell them to share the link. Now that I'm looking here, I see I got a new little setup for this platform. Yeah, I didn't realize it, but it's a little one or two little new pieces in place. Nevertheless, I was told to tell the people, you got to tell them to share the thing. I was like, all right, I'm going to tell them, I'm going to tell them, I'm going to tell them. Y'all know I don't really get into that like that. But I was told to tell you all that. All right. So, yeah, let me go ahead and share this screen real quick here. Let me go and share this one. Greetings to you too, Pedro. Greetings, Pedro. Pedro, I got something for you tonight, man. I got some vintage files for you. I got a song by the Mighty Gabby too that you're going to definitely like. Greetings, brethren, family, all love, Rastafari, all day, every day. Let me add this to the screen, man. This is none other than one Mr. Stephen Lashley. Some have a different name for him. I wouldn't go as far as calling that right now. But he said, clear his ear on ganja legality. This is quite interesting. I thought this was very interesting. Rastaman, you can believe that this man right here got something to say about the youths of Barbados. I remember specifically when we were looking to bring Movado and Cartel into Barbados, have a situation where we're going to have a concert, of course, to make some ends because, man need bread, man got work to do, so therefore you need to have an economic base. But putting that one aside, the focus of the event was entirely about having the both of them come to Barbados at the time before things got completely out of hand and actually talk to the youths. We're going to have the gymnasium, large enough space, of course, to bring as many school children in and have them really talk to the youths about, listen, man, we entertainers, our music thing, this. Truthfully speaking, I suspect that had we done that, had we actually got that done, maybe it might have even saved Mr. Cartel from finding himself in a situation where he ended up going to prison. Nevertheless, who knows? But I remember he got a lot of fight from some government officials about this. And this particular individual was one of them, a major one. In fact, we had a special meeting at the Ministry of Education at the time, and he had a lot to say, especially to me personally. Said I would make a bad lawyer, which is funny because I wasn't trying to be a lawyer. But why he said that is because I put him in a position because he lied. He blatantly outright lied and I cross-examine him in the middle of a meeting in front of his colleagues and pulled his card. Threw a tantrum, man. Yeah, he threw a tantrum. Yeah. Anyhow, he's now saying that, and I read, former member of Parliament Stephen Lashley believes there is a correlation between what he called listen to this, what he called the wanton use of marijuana and alcohol and the increase in criminal activity here in Barbados. The wanton use of marijuana and alcohol, he is claiming, he believes to be one of the results, one of the factors in the increase in the criminal activity. You see how out of touch these individuals? I mean, this is 2025. We're talking at least over a decade ago. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, they are out of touch with reality. They have no concept, no idea at all when it comes to the youths and what's going on. None. A wanton use of. So let me ask you a question, Mr. Lashley. The wanton use of alcohol and marijuana is a result of the increase in criminal activity. So when individuals have a wanton desire for some other activities that might be considered illegal, but are still being practiced secretly, specifically in the bedroom. Well, I don't know where there's practice things, but I assume. But let me ask you a question. The wanton desire for personal pleasure, despite the criminality of it, because if it's criminal, it means it's against the law. Should we classify that too as criminal activity? Boy, that's like a direct shot, though. And I ain't even playing with it, man. This man here, for real. Look, man, I don't know. Like I said, this is why I tell you what I tell you, people. We have been hoodwinked and bamboozled. I said, wait, are we being lied to? Because how we even got in a position to be in charge of youth in the first place, I don't have a clue. Somebody lying, man. They don't have a clue what they're doing. Greetings, all praises to the Most High, man. For real, for real, for real. Good night to you too, Elder. Greetings and blessing. What we got here? She said, man, what WDR? I'm not sure what that exactly means, but nevertheless, you cannot. We won't get into that by definition. But yeah, though, I don't know what else to say about this one here, man. But if you're gonna blame alcohol and marijuana for criminal activity, not recognizing that crime is usually linked to financial gain in most cases, well, you know, it might be a little deeper than that. I mean, you said criminal activity, you're not talking about the large case of lawyers who misrepresent clients, take their money and don't actually do the work, or mismanage estates, or worse yet, steal the estate, sell it to foreigners, and then what? Act like y'all don't know what's going on and y'all hide up under the bar. So when you said criminal activity, what do you mean exactly, Mr. Lashley? Because when last I checked, you yourself might be engaged. Let me not even get on that road. Let me not get on that road. So having said that, we been lied to forever. You've been lied to forever. He repeating what the researchers and criminologists told him. You think he repeating that? So he's a parrot then? I mean, he's a parrot? He's a macaw. Or flamingo. You know, man, you going too far with that one there, boy. You call him minister a parrot? Well, he ain't a minister no more, but even if he was a minister, he would still call you a parrot. I would still call him a flamingo because that is what he is. Point blank. That's direct, personal, direct. Seeing that, man. Couldn't believe his position at all. I mean, for the youths. All we were doing is trying to bring a message to the youths. And here's the worst part. Had the unmitigated gall to go in the papers and say the day before the meeting, in fact, the day of the meeting, you call a meeting to make a determination on an outcome, to give an outcome about a request that was made. To have an event with children, a talk, a session, a mentorship session, and then you have one event where you can make some resources. Imagine they told us we could have the event with the children, but we can't have the paid event. So it's a money thing. So, anyhow, that's how that went down, man. And a lot was done and a lot of other things happened. Anyhow, exactly. It's crazy. But hold on, wait, there's more. I disrespecting the birds. Maureen, stop playing. Nah, I wasn't being funny. I was being straightforward. I mean, that ain't no secret. We gotta stop playing with people, man, acting like we don't know what's going on. We at a point where now a lot of people got a lot to say about everything. Everybody got something to say about everything except about their own reality. Come on, man. You calling the youths. I mean, anyhow, marijuana and alcohol. So let me get this, man. Look, I ain't even touched it. Alcohol been selling in Barbados forever. In fact, I don't think nobody drink more alcohol than politicians. As far as they concerned, man. Nevertheless, criminal activity. Lawyers are involved in criminal activity. They did smoke. Did they smoke marijuana? Perhaps a lot of them do. Perhaps they claim that the marijuana has caused you to, which is funny, look, they're always trying to demonize and criminalize marijuana when people do the things they do. So what would the people who don't smoke or don't drink that commit all kind of heinous acts? What's their story? Kind of madness. But anyhow, let me not even touch Mr. Lashley any further. Let me not even go down that road, man. So I want to get to the other heart of the matter, and that is the thing. I showed a video last week that talked about. I'm looking for it. I'm kind of slowly looking for. Here it is. This I don't even know if I could play this. I ain't gonna play part of it. Cause this one touchy. I'm telling you, it touchy. This one real touchy, family. It touchy. So I going for it, man. My thing is this, family. Have we been lied to? Are we being lied to? Something is not right. What's going on in Barbados? Something we missing something. Things going from bad to worse. It makes no sense. And buses coming in because you're not getting a bus on time. Still waiting long for transportation. Man, look, Monica, it's depressing for some people. Somebody said he even got youths. Yes, to my knowledge, he has children. He has children. I trust that they're good. And that's why, I try to be mindful on here because I don't want to say things. In fact, I had a conversation recently about a video I played here about a year ago, give or take. And it was told that it was very disturbing for some folks to see because I had played the video. And as if I was in support of a certain lifestyle or behavior. And, I had to step back and look at it and think to myself, was I wrong for playing the video? Because I play a video don't mean I support the video. I may be using the video clip to inform people about something that they may not be aware of. I suppose I could explain it. I don't know if explaining it always works, but then again, teaching with audio and visual is an effective tool. Nevertheless, I should still always be mindful of the audience, that not everybody is going to interpret things the way I think or how I see it, and therefore then may rush to judgment in some instances, and even cause folks who might just be harboring something to jump out there just looking for a reason. So that's why, especially when people have children, I'm always mindful of that because I always think to myself about my position. Greetings, Noel. How you doing, man? I ain't see you in a minute. Good night to you too, Rhonda. Shout out to the whole Guyana clique. We are always being lied to. Don't say don't say it's always. I don't suspect it's always, but sometimes yes, but not always. But let me go here to this other one. There's so many things I want to touch on tonight, but I can't touch on all. So I want to be strategic with what I'm doing. I'll get back to this one here because this is not an immediate something, but I want to get right into this matter with last week. Like I said, I showed a video with because obviously the North Point project was changed and the Panda developers and the cost of living in a certain sector of the country, the gold, platinum, diamond, whatever they call the course that most people can't afford, price of the houses, and Donald Trump deporting people left, right, and center. The question is, should we in the Caribbean also start to deport these foreigners? The term is foreigners that was being used. Should we start to deport foreigners is the question. you know, seeing as how they don't really check for us that kind of way. And I got this from one of the other sites, African Diaspora News Channel. But something was being said, should the Caribbean deport non-contributing foreigners? You mean the ones that just come here and live and don't spend the money here locally? All do is buy these homes for $5 and $6 and $8 and $9 million US dollars. I actually was looking at a house the other day. I thought it was a nice house, looked pretty good. I said, let me click on it and check the price. And I click on it and check the price. They wanted $9 million US for the house. I tell myself, what? What? $9 million for a house? White bill houses, I can look at it and tell what they're at a $9 million. That's 18 million Barbados dollars for this residence. And I'm saying to myself, well, the construction cost is not that. So what would cause a house to cost so much? You can't tell me location. What that is basically is that we don't want certain people in that area. So you have been priced out. So I don't know how we're looking at this thing with the Caribbean, but the question is being asked, should the Caribbean deport non-contributing foreigners? You see, as we start these kind of conversations, things gonna get real ticklish, man. Real ticklish. Nevertheless, y'all tell me what y'all think about that in the comments real quick. I won't even get into the rationale behind it, but give me your thoughts on that. But like I said, in the interest of time, I want to get into these videos. So let me go real quick to the feature for the evening. Let me just go ahead and click this. This might come as a bit of a surprise for some, but I want to put this up on the screen real quick. Let me just go ahead and share it real quick, briefly. Yes, this is a Democratic Labour Party Barbados DLP official clip. So I'm going to get to it real quick. Let me just go ahead and jump right into it, man. Jump right into it.
With any of that, I have come here to deal with Ornato, who has now, in my view, crossed the political Rubicon into the fields of complete ambivalence and political schizophrenia.
So he's basically claiming that Ornato he had political schizophrenia. Now, why am I bringing this up? This is definitely old news. It's a long old news. Chris Sinclair is not necessarily an individual that I was familiar with too much. He did have one or two little run-ins, but I always had my opinion. But when the system behind the system feeds information, I always review it to wonder why it popped up. So it came up in my feed. Wasn't looking for none of this, but somehow the AI decided I needed to see this. So they brought it up. So I watched it. And I saw something, and I heard something, and I thought about it, and I said, well, wait a minute, hold on a second. Did we miss this? Because what he starts to say, what he starts to declare, and by the way, again, this is not a political thing. It's an information thing. When he starts to describe what was happening and what was going on then, and again, this is over a decade ago. This is almost 20 years ago in Barbados. This is the point I want to make. In Barbados, we started a point where we realized X, Y, and Z. Things were happening a certain way. And did we as Barbadians change the trajectory of what has happened? Or were we being lied to so much that we accepted the lie as truth and rejected the truth as a lie? Because here we are now in 2025 under the auspices of the now BLP, not the then BLP, but the now BLP. And if I'm not mistaken, man, in fact, let me let him tell you. You would think, right? We talk about the lost decade for the DLP. And again, shout out to Fade, by the way. And again, shout out to Barbados National Congress. This is why Barbados National Congress is so important. Because if they said that that was a lost decade, then this is about 20 years later, almost 20 years. We met, look, family, something wrong, seriously wrong in Barbados. And I am not going to sit down and pretend that I don't see it. I'm not going to sit down and pretend I'm not going to speak on it for whatever fear people think I'm supposed to have, because, you know, you can't say nothing wrong about this body, or you can't say nothing about that body. when we see the children, my Stephen, lastly, you know, that crap he talking, spinning out of control because of the situation that were created by the adults. Nah, we ain't doing that. Let Mr. Sinclair talk his talk, man. Hold on.
As characterized by the mulatto prime minister.
So he calls him a mulatto, which is interesting because if you know who the mulattoes are, you understand what mulattoes were created to do. And I say created because it was a deliberate ploy. This is the part of Barbados history that not too many people want to talk about. In fact, I go a step further. I challenge anybody who's watching this right now. Y'all remember the guy that used to sing with Gabby back in the days? What's his name, man? A song that Gabby wrote back then. What's the name of this song, man? Commander was his name. Pedro, help me here, man. I'll look for it and I'll get you the name. Hold on.
It takes a special breed of character with a mind that can be transformed from logical thinking into clear illogic in order for him to come up with some of the positions. I want to understand the creature that you are dealing with. That a man who came into politics and into the Parliament of Barbados through a flood, engineered, not the flood, but the thereafter, by Aaron Truss, who he then kicked out of politics in favor of Ishmael Roy. This is so grateful afterwards. The Minister of Floods, Aaron Truss, ushered him into the House of Assembly. And he stood in that House of Assembly as a member of the opposition and stood up in the Parliament of Barbados and indicated the following words. Mr. Speaker, sir, I want to conclude this debate in a personal capacity. I have a very fundamental decision to make in my personal life. I have to weigh very carefully whether it is possible for me to continue in politics. This might well be the last occasion that I have the capacity. Oh yes, the tears were inside. St. John was snuffing up his nose, and Pat Simmons was choosing to the top of her voice. Idiot! I told you he would embarrass you. Idiot! And I have to say, I have spoken haltingly today because politics for me is a very painful experience. Much as I would like to continue in politics, there comes a time when a person has to measure what he wants to do with his life. And I believe that time has come for me.
So it came to a point where Mr. Aft, I guess, recognized that he needed to make some changes and decided he wanted to reinvent himself somehow, for whatever reason. I wouldn't even get into that aspect. I guess internal wranglings or whatever the case is, because we know that they did lose that election and David Thompson won, and the seats and whatever else happened after that. Noel is saying all what's going on in Barbados, you all cannot blame them lied, wicked politicians. You have to blame the Barbados citizens. Well, Noel, it is easy to say that when you live outside of Barbados, and I can understand why you would come to that conclusion. However, I will agree and disagree in part because understand that people in Barbados who are loyal to these political parties by name, not necessarily that they understand politics or anything about politicians or how the political game actually works, but it's an emotional roller coaster. That's why you'll find that individuals like Sinclair will come out here and say all these truths and quote all these facts and read all these comments that were made in Parliament or otherwise in the paper or whatever, and people will get emotionally moved by them. However, do we understand what is really being said when he's saying what he's saying when he said it? Because in reality, if we were paying attention, you're right, we wouldn't blame them. We would be able to see through the fog and see through the lights. But guess what? Lawyers are trained to lie. Our government is ran by them. So understand that it's a game that is played. And that game is played very, very immaculately. In fact, I want to skip forward real quick here to another section. Yeah, I got 1, 2 things I got 1, 2 things to clear here, man. We're gonna get into another reading. But I want y'all to recognize that a lot was said then. So the Barbadians are now, look, this is not a DLP, it's not a BLP. And Noel has a point. It's a Barbadian thing. It's about the people of Barbados. See, this party loyalty is what got us here. It is the loyalty to both these parties that have us in this position. Because if you're loyal to the people of the nation, recognizing the things that are going on, it should be a case where the people firmly come together and take a complete stance like we did in 789 and simply say no thus far and no further. We ain't being begging. We're not doing that. We simply telling these individuals, the few of them, the 30 of them, however many, listen, hold on. Y'all got this wrong. We're not doing this like this no more. We're not promoting that. In fact, let me let the rest of this play. Hold on.
Out in 2007. This is going out in 1997. 2007. Mr. Speaker, I got the right page. Some individuals, because of their incomes, do not qualify to pay income tax, but have not benefited from these tax changes introduced in the last few years. These are what I term, Mr. Speaker, as the working poor for the first time in the politics of Barbados. After 13 years of government, going out to set up in the Parliament of Barbados, he who wants to equate himself to Aaron Walton Barrow, that is responsible for free education, responsible for political independence, responsible for the social security, responsible for national insurance, responsible for all of the fundamental social and economic changes this country has undergone. He who wants to equate himself to the right excellent Aaron Walton Barrow stood up and say, I have created in Barbados a working poor. And that $4,000 was too much of a burden for me to carry. But I say to you tonight, pull out your hoe, pull out your far, and get in your garden. You understand the political schizophrenia of the mulatto Prime Minister?
There's that word again. There's that word again. Hold on, we're going to get to it.
Of the mulatto Prime Minister. On the one hand, the behind that bitch, it was too much of a burden. $4,000. I have mothers living in the farm who can't make $400 a month. That politics is not a burden for them. Life is a burden for them. Where was Oriata when the burden of bad government, the burden of cost of living, the burden of not being able to get proper government services? Where was he when that burden was killing them? He was at Sandy Lane talking with his friends. Oh, I want you to go up there and show my black brothers what symbols of success you are. That is going after. I want you to go and hold up yourselves as paragons of virtue, of men and women of success. But I want my black brothers and sisters who I betrayed like a Colossus, so said Julius Caesar, to go up in the backyard and garden.
Wow. Wow. Who invited these foreigners, them legal or illegal? So, wait, are we being lied to, man? Did Owenatha under the BLP sell the country to foreigners? Shifting the power struggle in Barbados from the plantocracy class to the foreigner class, the corporate class, or whatever class you want to know, call it. Pedro answered a very important question. Who invited these foreigners, them legal or illegal? I don't think any of the two latter words apply to the invited guests. I don't think any of those two words apply. Now, why do I say that? Why do I say that? I said because, oh, by the way, I think I'm going to also share the links for these videos because there's actually 4 of them. I won't play all 4. I just play a couple of clips for like 2 of them. But y'all are more than welcome to go in the comments and check them out yourself. This is why I'm saying, again, you know, when it comes to politics, this political game, you know, you got to pay attention, family. Do not get caught up in the emotional part of it, the juxtaposing one group versus another, but recognizing the language that is being said. He said all this on a platform almost 2 decades ago. And have you paid attention then, you know, folks would not be saying what they're saying now. So the question is, what's really going on? Are we being lied to, or is it that we just don't understand? It could be a little of both, perhaps, but again, we got to answer ourselves some questions. A lot are owned by English celebrities. I like that. Yes, poverty is the factor in terms of crime and criminality, quote unquote, in Barbados. You cannot separate poverty from crime. You can't. But they'll tell you about the criminal activity, but they won't address how the people get in so much poverty. Let me tell you how the people get in so much poverty right now. Let me drop this other one on you, man. I know y'all ain't gonna like this tonight. I'm telling you, man. Sinclair, come, tell him again.
I want you to put it together.
Put it together.
I want you to study what I am talking about. It is a particular kind of political rascality unknown in Barbados. But we hold up Owenatha as this paragon of virtue. This man that we should see as this great political practitioner. He is a master of politics. But I say tonight, he is a master of deception.
Master of deception. Again, we look at Barbados and the crime in 2025 escalating in with such a trajectory that even the people who work for the system can tell you, they predict that, you know, they're going to double the amount of homicides they've had thus far for the year, which is a record beyond belief. Why is that? Because you got to look at the situation of poverty as well. The lack of resources available to the people. Don't get tapped with all the new roads and new buses, all this fancy stuff and the zippy cabs. So none of that is in essence put in place for you. It ain't for you. Or electric hybrids and these vehicles. I keep telling y'all, these electric hybrids that they're bringing in, they're already 5 years old. Do not buy them. Period. Don't buy them. Unless you bring it for yourself, don't go and buy one, because like I said, when them batteries flip and all that, family, the wealth of the what they call the working class is being extracted in such a way that you're being put back on a plantation or put in a plantocracy state of mind. Why? Because in a matter of years, you're going to see why. I mean, the cost of living, the cost of living. Let me let him finish this, man, before I get into that part of this.
Political deception, because he says one thing and he does something completely else. You set off all of my patronage and then turn around to me and say, I don't want to see no black people. I don't want to hear about the poor working class man. Not even a poor black man. Show me a black man with $2 million and I can tell you where to invest. That's going on. And he then turns around. Can you imagine it? And says, look, I love all my colleagues in Parliament. They are are doing a fantastic job. He got married at an court and did not invite one of them. Not one. This is the quality of the man you're talking about. You can sit down for 13 years in a cabinet every Thursday. God saying life with men and women in the house every Tuesday. Get married and tell people my wedding was not a political affair, so I didn't want them there. But look who will have a hand at his wedding. Pat Simmons, Kiffin Simpson, Carl Williams. He brought up busy. They could excuse busy going black. So you can excuse him. Sir Alan Fields. But Marty can get there, even with her new Jerry Curl hairstyle. Huh?
I wasn't aware she had a Jerry Curl hairstyle. Miss Marty couldn't even get invited to the wedding. Was this true? I mean, hold on. So clearly we have a leader at the time who was focused on a different class of folks in Barbados. The interest was not, the BLP of that time was not interested. I got to say BLP because that's the name of the group that he represents. But the truth is, clearly he wasn't even studying them because, I mean, did he really get married and then invite none of the colleagues, nobody at all? That says a lot. But anyhow, so the interest and the focus was not the people of Barbados, not even his own colleagues, but rather the wealth of Barbados. Why would he do that? And then again, think about it. Was this the foundation that was being laid for what we are building on today? Was this the foundation that was being laid for what is being built on today? It says Stephen Lashley was the best sports minister ever. Perhaps. Commander is correct. I'm telling you, do you all know that the PM of Barbados Mayor was employed by the IMF when the DLP was running Barbados? I again, Noel, I don't know if that was so. I wasn't aware of that. But if she was working for them, again, my question is still the same. Was the foundation that was being laid then that slab that this house is now being built on called Trident Barbados? You know, that's the question. That is indeed the question. And so if that is the case, let me answer another question. Hold on a second, Sinclair. Tell him a little piece more.
Can you imagine he left up by him with the girl? Already ready? And she's now up front. He has only her. And she's fighting all the bridge down. I am very afraid of her teeth. And even more frightened for her tongue. But look, I even tell you this man is a political schizophrenic. Not one of them, but his daughter, God bless her soul, dies. And we now to force a public funeral, to make a mass funeral, to make himself look good, that he is holding a casket in grief. And you know the same Great Cabinet at the church, crying some of them, but I don't feel the stops in anybody, because I know that one half of her face was contorted in grief, and the other half was like Kaduma Day, full of joy.
Yeah, so like I said, family, is it that we wasn't paying attention then, or we were too busy just trying to keep our head above water with life situations, lifing? Because it is obvious to duck at this point when we're looking back. And when I was listening to this, all I kept hearing was, boy, they really played the people. Like, they really played the people. Like, at the time, because I'm almost sure this is the same Sinclair that's working for the same Miss Motley right now, doing whatever work he's doing. I think with the same IMF, as fate would have it. I want you to realize, family, the only reason I'm bringing this information back to the front is for us to do a little introspection and ask ourselves some questions. Wait, are we being lied to? Because, we all in this, right? They say we all in this. But if you think about it, if all that is being said is what Oinafa would have been actually, in fact, well, quite frankly, he did lose that election to the DLP at the time. And so, unfortunately, the timing of Miss Thompson, he didn't make it, and, Frondell and so on and so forth. Now we're here at Miss Motley's second, going into her perhaps third term. Will she make it? Will she? I don't know. But at this point, it's like, wait a minute. Are we going to repeat this again? Or are we, as a people, going to step back and take a more critical look at the whole rather than the part, meaning part BLP, division DLP, and the rest, whoever else? Because without question, there's a direct link to what has happened and what is happening. And if you don't believe me again, listen to this other part here now. Just take this in with a grain of salt.
So I don't take on her at all. But you can invite them to your wedding. But you have them at the funeral. The man is suffering from some kind of political schizophrenia. Understand the character that you're dealing with. And so, tonight, ladies and gentlemen, when you sit down to study the fact that after 14 years, Oinafa is trying to reinvent himself. Yes. It's not David Thompson that's reinventing, it's Oinafa who is reinventing himself. But he has one underlying characteristic, that in matters pertaining to politics, he gravitates towards the blacks because they have superiority of numbers. But in matters dealing purely with economics, he cuddles up only the whites because they have superiority of dollars. Understand what I am saying to you tonight? And if you were to read and study the mulatto politician Haiti, C.L.R. James and the Black Jacobins documents it very well. When the mulatto politician divided the Black nationalist movement in Haiti and sided with the French against their black brothers, even though using them to gain political office, you would understand the antecedents of Oinafa. And as I stand to you tonight, just a stone throw away from Strathclyde, which as a boy, we were told we could not traverse, that we could not trespass. And Aaron Gordon Barra and the Democratic Labour Party brought down those barriers.
Okay. So, you see, we got questions, family. Shout to the elder, by the way, Bishai. Bishai got some great news for you, man. Super great news for you. And we'll talk a little later for sure. I'll drop a message in the yeah, you know where. But this family, were we not paying attention? It would have to be that. It had to be a case where we weren't paying attention, because so much was said then to make you scratch your head and look at it. It's like we should never be in the position we're in now. I showed that video a few days ago with that resort down the road and the marina. $3 million for an apartment. That's probably US. All because they say so. Which Barbadian working class right now looking to how make that make sense, man? So we inviting all these people to come in and buy up all these new real estate projects. Come on in. Pedro, answer the question. They're legal or illegal? Pedro, I don't even know what to tell you, man. There's something called a working visa. You know, the welcome visa, welcome stamp. It come with a price, so I think it's $100,000 or 150 per family or something along them lines. But I know it's, I don't know who, without, $100,000. The campaign minister, Barbados Prime Minister today, that is getting so many loans from the IMF, was hired by the IMF long before she was the PM of Barbados. All of those politicians are criminals. Well, this might be the criminal activity Stephen Lashley was referring to. I mean, perhaps. I know me get that for him. They mean the job, buy a property, earn residency. There you go. Buy a property, earn residency. You know, smoke and mirrors, man. St. Clair today is an employee of the same IMF that's when he was a DLP member. He was talking bad about the same IMF that he's working for today. This is why I'm asking the question, are we being lied to? It's probably, it probably gets eliminated. I would get to be a high. I would get to be high. I remember the slogan, war on poverty. Pedro, you think there's really a war on poverty? I think the war is to keep poverty in place, man. The permanent on the class. Greetings to you, Sharon. Shalom, shalom. St. Clair and all them that working for the World Bank, IMF, UN are traitors to Bajans. Natasha said, wow. You say wow, Natasha, don't say wow yet. Don't say wow yet. Say wow when they put this one here on, man. This one right here, man. Yeah. This one right here. This the wow one though. And I'm gonna just play it in part again. I don't want to get into too much dialogue of it. But this is the wow one. And I'm gonna play this and then drop the other video on you. But this is the wow one. But why am I asking these questions? Because again, I think that Barbadians are in a position now. We got to make decisions. We at the 11th hour and we see what's going on. The writing is clearly on the wall, family. You know, the scripture said, come out of her, my people, and be separated. You can't want to be involved in the burning house and then complain about the heat. You cannot volunteer to be a part of the burning house and then complain about the heat. Regardless to which party you want to support, let's be realistic. Your loyalty as a Barbadian should be to the people and the nation and the ancestors of Barbados. Has nothing to do with the political class at all. These two political classes, the B and D, specifically the B and D, derive from where? And once you understand that, once you grasp that, and you fully comprehend how that came to be, then you ain't gonna be in awe anymore. Greetings to you too, family. Frank Lowe, yo, tell a friend to tell a friend. I was told by my number one, I don't have to call her a fan, supporter. We're in the fan business. In the fan business. This and that saw a program. But I was told by my number one supporter, you got to say, tell the people to share the thing, man. I don't normally say that. I like to think that y'all know that already. So I don't, but I was told to say it. So I'm saying that I'm being obedient. But Frank, go tell a friend to tell a friend, man. He said, Pedro said, theater at its finest. You think this is theater at its finest? This is not theater at its finest. This is because the devil got to tell you the truth. It's not theater, Pedro. That's the other program. This is not theater. The devil got to tell you the truth so that you can never say you did not know.
Going after the political schizophrenic has gravitated towards an external bourgeoisie, a new comprador class that he has invited into Barbados, and their job is to do two things.
Now I want y'all to listen to this. Pedro, you answer the question, who invited them, right? You answer the question, who invited them, right? Okay, I'm about to tell you on this theater platform that you call it, allow St. Clair to tell you who invited them and also give you the reasons why they were invited. Listen, this was the first video I saw, so I had to go back and look for the other ones and then follow the story. When I heard this, right, family, I said to myself, look, man, we cannot be so busy with the distractions, and there are lots of distractions. And like I said, making fun of Carl Roberts is probably one of the biggest ones right now. Nobody cares about that. Nobody cares about that. That is completely like that's like the war they had the other day with well, not with the war, the little missiles with Iran and Israel, bam, 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 quick. So When you check out though the laws that were passed in America at that same very time, no one was paying attention to the Congress. Everybody was watching the war and wondering they're gonna push nuclear. Iran got nukes and blah blah blah. They're gonna blow up the place, and so Israel strike the nuclear plant. Da da da. Now let me ask a question. You go on nuclear missile, like this could blow up the whole world, mushroom cloud, all kind of thing. All right, no problem. Are you telling me that Israel launched this sophisticated attack that blew up the nuclear facility? You see a mushroom cloud yet? You mean so the missile only blows up, become a nuclear weapon when it blow up somewhere else. But when you blow it up right where it is, nothing don't happen. Make it make sense, man. You see, we look, family, it's a political game. And Pedro said it, theater, but this ain't theater, boy. This is a whole nother level. They got to tell you the truth so that you can't say you was lied to. So Noel is right in part. They can't say they lied to you. What they tell you, listen to what he says next regarding the foreigners, who invite them, and most importantly, why.
And their job is to do two things. Buy out Barbados and divide it up into enclaves.
I gonna stop there and go back, man. Y'all ain't hear that, man. Y'all ain't hear that, man. Y'all ain't hear that, man. I'm gonna play this again, man.
For their class that he has invited into Barbados. And their job is to do two things. Buy out Barbados and divide it up into enclaves where they and only they can go. That is why you're seeing all these border communities, gated communities. And the second task is to bring foreign exchange so the mulatto prime minister can stay in office by claiming that this economy is doing well. So that when you see a letter in the paper like the one that Richard Horde wrote, you would understand what is happening. That Oinata now has the domestic white class in Barbados afraid, because for the first time they have realized that the man that they threw all of their money and wealth behind is now undermining even them. That he has become a dangerous political character. And that their own patronage is being sold down the drain.
Wow. Wow. Let me just drop that link real quick right there for some of these videos. Y'all are more than free to go and listen to the rest of it. Maybe I might play a piece more, two more minutes or so. But I got a question. Did y'all caught that, or y'all ain't caught that? Like, where were we when this was being said back in 2007? Where was Barbadians? I'm sure most of the Barbadians now, who are the ones, you know, making a lot of inquiries, let me use that word, into the things that are going on, whether it is the Jaws River, East Coast, Platinum Coast, piece of real estate, whatever land whatever land we're talking about being sold and stolen, or stolen and sold. Where were we back then? Like, where was everybody back? We were sleeping? Like, was there a time warp where we stepped into some tunnel and came out the other side? Like, we missed a lost decade. Lost decade? This is no lost decade. It's about 20 years since then. We've been missing in action, man. It's either that or we've been on to some sort of hypnotic spell. Do y'all remember the Berlin Conference? The Berlin Conference. I want y'all to Google that for some of y'all who might not know. The Berlin Conference. Let me type that in there real quick. Berlin Conference, family. Maureen said, unfortunately, we are see all, hear all, do nothing citizens. Not that we are lied to. We just prefer to look away and then cry foul when things turn bad for us. Maureen, you really think that is the truth? Barbadians are look all, hear all, then look away, and I don't know, because Bajans love to talk each other name left, right, and center. So I mean, they don't look away when it comes to that. They quick to want to throw somebody up onto the bus. But when we supposed to speak truth to power, we get these politicians. A lot of folks want a t-shirt and kya, 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 kya. I don't want to say the truth. You telling me, Miss Marty or Owen or whoever at any point in time, you can't say them, but I don't know if I agree with you, and explain yourself in an intellectual way to make sense and make them think, but wait a minute, why I didn't see it that way? We could assume that they don't know what they're doing. But what if they actually do know what they're doing, and what they're doing is what they're told to do? Like he said, Oenafa sold out. What he's saying basically is white Barbados in exchange for greater financial gain from the foreigners, the folks that would make remember the Berlin conference was a dash scramble for Africa? So the question is there a scramble for Barbados right now? Is there a scramble for Barbados? She was employed in 2024 as a Caribbean CARICOM IMF loans advisor. It's on the IMF website. Today, the PM is getting IMF loans like crazy. Yep, an actor he is. Actor or no actor, script or no script, what you can't say. This is what I'm asking. Was he telling the truth? Actor or no actor, script or no script, theater stage or political platform. The question is, was Sinclair telling the truth? That's the question.
As they are confronted by an imported bourgeois class of people in Barbados.
Imported bourgeois class.
If you doubt me, check something as simple as...
Now, before I play this next part, like I said, this rate gets touchy now from my end because I'm going to have to say some things that folks might not necessarily like, and I'm going to apologize in advance. Not apologizing because I feel sorry for what I'm about to say. I'm apologizing if you're offended. Unfortunately, sometimes the truth does that. Nevertheless, it is no respect to person.
If you doubt me, check something as simple as horse racing at the Garrison. You know you don't hear much about David Seals anymore. Huh? You don't hear about the Robbie Binos and the David Binos. All you hear in these names, Robert Orrick, Lord Michael Taylor, all of these people, Dr. Taki Blackie, Gay Smith and she husband, they have taken over something as small as horse racing in Barbados. But believe me, it is not just the horses they want. It is Barbados they want.
You hear what the man said? This is back then. This is back then. Yo, on a serious note, family, hold on a minute, man. On a serious note. You can't argue with this man right here. The man telling you the whole program. Look, whether we accept it is theatrics or not, this is 2025. This is in 2007. He was making these claims. This is 2025. Somebody, man. Almost daily, you're getting requests for work permits, having not found any suitable candidate. Imagine for even a supervisor post. They're importing, quote unquote, the bourgeois class. A lot of folks ain't gonna want to hear this. A lot of folks will get offended by this and feel, 1 minute they say promote the DLP, I promote the BLP, I promote Barbados and the people of Barbados, and this is how we've been manipulated and being lied to, family. And the truth is, we have not been paying attention. We have not been paying attention. Go tell a friend to tell a friend. Somebody go call somebody, man. Go call somebody. I'm gonna play a song by Gabby just now, man. Gonna disturb. I tell you, boy. Oh man. Anyhow. In fact, hold on. I got one more. I got one more piece.
And Owen Arthur, backed by his two best friends, Busy Williams and Carl Williams, are selling you down the drain. So the Biggie finished in the boardrooms, scuttling up under them, Soon as election come around, he with a fart and a free pants and a little white shirt pretending he gardening so that he can be seen as the ordinary man who is sympathizing with your hardship and grief out there. Don't curse Owen, he's a good fella. But I'm telling you tonight that we in the Democratic Labour Party have declared war on Oyaza. We will not rest until he is out of office. And the sin and heresy of him acquitting himself to Errol Barrow, it is a national shame, a disgrace, it is heresy for which he ought to be arrested. He is a political imposter, a wolf in sheep's clothing.
A wolf in sheep's clothing. This is said, not even a supervisor position. Imagine what we don't have any qualified here. This is the point. They're painting this picture. They keep telling you in the last 2 years, we're going to import some folks because, we have a shortage of professionals in Barbados, people who are qualified. Bear in mind that people going to school, free education, every year teachers being paid, schools getting allocated funds, millions and millions and hundreds of millions of dollars, and we ain't got nothing to show for it. Something wrong. Somebody's lying. Thank you, Frank. Big shout out to Frank and the whole family.
Greetings.
Yes. Give thanks. Ralph was in New York over the weekend giving away free food, drinks to the diaspora of Barbados. Really interesting. Shout out to my whole Vincentian family, man. The whole Yarraman, man. Y'all already know. Shout out to St. Lucia, by the way, and what happened today as well. Won't say anything yet. Give thanks to St. Lucia for that powerful move today. Shout out to Antigua and Dominica and Grenada for the support as well. It is almost unbelievable. And don't worry, we're going to drop some information just now. Let the ink dry. As always, let the ink dry. Aunt Rose said, don't let your left hand know what your right hand doing. I learned that the hard way, albeit late. I learned it nevertheless. Beverly, we're getting on, family. Greetings to you too. Good night to you, Lucinda. Those people are the same liars and corrupt. Lucinda, give thanks for tuning in. I'm glad you said that. I gonna let that on that note. Hold on, Lucinda. Check this out.
And mighty Gabby, political yarda.
Now, listen, let's say this now in the early. This right here, like I said, is what captured my whole thing here, man. And I went and did some research myself. But hold on, let me let him tell you. I challenge you, which I did earlier. I want y'all to go and find this sound. Go look for this sound.
Political yarda, Gabby. Who say? No, he's not a yard phone. He's a duck. Because everything he eats. Look, the man don't get me home. He like, come on. Gabby made it very clear when he used to have sex in one of his songs. My skin looking black, my skin looking white, inside of me, black as night.
My skin looking white, inside of me, black as night.
My skin looking white, inside of me, black as night. I am mulatto. I have a history that's a disgrace to humanity. I am mulatto. Technically, I am really black. But I don't want nobody to mention that fact. I have been living this white life all of my white life.
I should really just leave it right there, I should really just leave it right there, man. Ross Sinclair don't work for the IMF. Good night to you, Mr. Jukes. Good to have you on the program. Long time no see. Been looking for you, actually. I do admire your questioning and your train of thought. I actually look forward to your dialogue here in the comments. Welcome back to the program on a live session. Got to talk to you about farming. Listen, the number on the bottom there, Frank, In fact, you need to do so. You need to do so as soon as possible. We're about to make a powerful move. I always looking for the documents that Pedro be telling me about. There's something about though. But yeah, I went there this weekend and saw the land. Man, it wants some work though, because we did cut the grass, but unfortunately, the rain and the time has passed and the bush is back up a couple feet. But we gonna deal with that. But anyhow, this song right here, Mulatto. I remember growing up as a young lad. My name was younger. They had a song called Mulatto. And I remember that song on the radio. And so I did a search for the song, did a search for the lyrics, did a search for everything about the song. And it cannot, well, I have been completely unsuccessful. In fact, it don't exist online at all, period. Period. If you could find it, post it, put it in the comments, send me something. Correct me if I'm wrong. That song does not exist, as if it was stripped from the record, along with the lyrics of it. Mulatto. My skin white, but inside I black as night. Barbados has some secrets, right, family? And I know she doesn't want to divulge certain things because some people are uncomfortable with that truth being known. The worst thing about what they're doing is so sinful that when they're enter into the gates of hell with all those stolen monies, it's going to be burnt nicely. It's going to burn nicely. I know I like that one. When they enter the gates of Hades, well, you know, I don't think we see this. I don't think we look at it the same way. I don't think they look at the reality the way that Christians look at the reality. I think they have a different mindset. Barbadians, Bajans was partying. Oh, there was partying. Fretting. Noel, stop telling lies on Mr. Thorne. Wait, Mr. Thorne? I must have missed a comment here, Mr. Jilts, because I didn't see no. Oh, wait a minute. I now see it. There's so many, right? Ralph was in New York. No, I don't think he meant Ralph Thorne. Well, wait a minute. You meant Ralph Thorne, Mr. Noel? Because I was thinking Ralph is in Ralph Gonzalez. I don't know. You may have to be more specific, Noel, because Mr. Jilks is saying you're telling lies. Mr. Thorne was not, Ralph Thorne rather, was not in New York giving out hampers or whatever. I don't know. Make that make sense, Noel, because we don't promote that kind of thing here. No spreading disinformation. So let's clarify it, because Michael ain't making that kind of sport. He don't miss much. He's sharp. Yes, the Berlin conference, family. Y'all need to go and Google that. Bajans vote. He out. Yes, he was removed, but was he really removed, Pedro? No, a lot of money's hidden in offshore account. The money not in hell. It's in offshore accounts. I was at the Bajan diaspora party with Ralph. Were you there? Well, I guess y'all will figure that out now. I agree with that statement. Jokes. Noel is saying he was present. I'm not sure if that's what you meant. Maybe you might not be aware if that's the case, but Noel might got to share more information. Noel, you took any images of it? That's a good question, Sean. I don't doubt Noel. I don't think Noel's going to come on politically incorrect, make that kind of sport. He know very well. He not on this platform. He know that this is the place for 9, so we don't make that kind of sport. Owen sells the National Barbados Bank. Again, a lot of things happened when the BLP was there the last time. We say Owen, but Owen represent a movement called the BLP, a union called the BLP, a group of individuals under the umbrella of the BLP. So you don't get to escape that. And so you overeducated people in Barbados need to start doing your own research and stop listening to brass tacks and those lied Barbados politicians. Well, be that as it may, right, Noel? We got to work what we got. We got to help each other along this path. He is truth and true now. He was telling the truth. I agree. He was. White people have been wanting this island for a long time. Serious. We are bringing in the ultra wealthy. Yep. And that ultra wealthy dollar far exceeds that old plantation money they had out here, man. So white Barbadians are now in a position where they got to make their decisions, because you see, this is what happened back then too. Because the colonial Europeans, Aryans, maybe we shouldn't call them that. Caucasians know that white Barbadians are not Caucasians, although they might have that look here locally. They know the story about them. They know how they were created, and they don't hide that. So, you know, if it is that they decide that, well, we want Barbados, but we don't want them, well, where are they going to go? Especially if they have been marginalizing you for so long. It's like, well, we can't go back to the villages now because we're not going to be accepted, and we ain't white enough and we ain't black enough. So it's a funny position that Barbadians find themselves in, who might be of that particular social class, what they call it mulatto. That song is missing. I wonder how it comes. 1985 was the year. I think Commander was the name of the gentleman at the time. I think the song was written by Gabby, but it's quite interesting. All these politicians only after stolen money and power, living off the backs of the poor, living large and in charge, whereas the people suffer, whatever happened in the dark. Agree, Monica, it must come to light. Politics is a scramble for power, man. And we got to realize that there are people who finance these people to have them give us the face of power, but they don't have the power themselves. So that's why they fall in the categories and the traps. Wake up, stand up, back is time. Barbadians, wake up, stand up. Back in time is now. I agree. This might have been 2007. This video might as well be played now, and we could change your name from Owen Arthur to who? To who? We could play this same video now and have that change from Owen Arthur to who? Family, they do not have control over this territory here. There are people behind the scene that are clearly financially very powerful, and these politicians got to tap dance. We said that, like Owen said earlier, remember what he said? I'm at a point where I have to reconsider my political career. Why did he make those statements earlier? See, I played that earlier. Did y'all put the two together? Because maybe he was put in a position where he had to do certain things, and if he went against it, it would have cost him. So maybe he decided, maybe he grew a moral compass and said, look, man, I ain't doing that no more. And therefore, the people behind the scene decide to make a shift. We're going to take the other mulatto prime minister that we have, because we got a file on him involving the Clico situation, put him in power so we could control that situation, and then we will continue our mission, which was to capture and recolonize Barbados. But poor David decided he had grown some testicular fortitude and decide, well, maybe I don't know if I'm doing that to my people either. That wasn't my plan. I mean, when they tell me when they're gonna let me win the election, and so he came in and decided he wasn't doing it. So what happened to him? He had an untimely demise. Somehow he got suddenly ill all of a sudden and quick, so he was gone. Enters Frondell Stewart with a very calm and quiet demeanor that refused to do certain things, boy. He was just almost there as a figurehead. Let's fast forward now. We need someone who's willing to do the work where Owen Arthur left off.
So don't come digging up in my past to cause no damn strife. Just let bygones be bygones, and don't come mashing on my corns. But I can mash Owen Arthur corns. I can mash them because he has misled an entire nation. And he has done absolutely nothing in his 14 years of government to raise the standard of living of black people in Barbados. He has sat down and he has seen and watched the poor suffering in Barbados, and he has cursed and harassed them. When the police strike, he told the police go back to work. Nothing special. He told the nurses, don't blackmail me. He cursed the immigration officers, all of them. But when the white people come knocking, the political UNACO genuflects like a teenager. Yes, sir. I will deal with it. Leave it to me. The private sector must get help. Understand who you are dealing with tonight. That this piece of Ephesus must be stripped of its claws and its crumbling teeth that have been sunk into the flesh of the working poor in Barbados. I stand ready with my colleagues to fight him and to fight all of the political chameleons that back him whenever that election is come. Ladies and gentlemen, good night, and may God bless you all.
Good night, and may God bless you all, man. Shout out to Barbados National Congress, man. That's all I could say, man, because let me tell you all something, right? If it is that folks are really going to march about this October 1st Open Borders Caribbean to stop our brothers and sisters regionally, but we sit back and watch the wealthy come here and buy up everything and not a word. I mean, we might say things in passing, but never no major moves to stop anything. The level of construction, the work that's going on, the sales of property, the change of use, billboards scattered all across the hillside of Barbados. Let me show y'all something, man. Let me go with this one real quick. Hold on. Let me just change videos real quick here. Y'all think y'all ready for this? Y'all think y'all ready for this? Y'all ready for this? Look at Barbados, man. Look at beautiful Barbados. Beautiful, beautiful Barbados, yeah? Let's zoom in. As far as the eye can see, let's zoom in. Look at all the land, agriculture land, that is clearly nothing going on. See all them brown spots? There's nothing going on. Agriculture land, all you look is land, 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 and more land. Land, I mean land that, as far as the eye can see, land and more land and more land. Land and land. Dense bush, forage area, you know. Land and land and land. Hey, Barbados got plenty land. Land, I mean, land can done. Look, plots. And you can almost see how it divided into previous agricultural sector. I mean, if you got an eye for farming, you recognize these lots going and coming. You can't miss them. They're all marked out, usually by roads surrounding them. Can't miss them, man. Land and more land and more land. Let me come a little further down. Coming to St. Andrew section here, man. You know, green, green, land, land, green, green, land, green, land. Land. I mean, I come off to the highway right here real quick, go down here real quick. This is somewhere down by where's this here now? Look, this is down by Fort Hill section. Land more. Look how green this is. Green as far as you can see, and these remote houses in the middle of seemingly nowhere. Massive homes, some decked out with pools and all kind of stuff. I mean, in the middle of nowhere. And make you wonder, right? This land and more land and more land. I could keep going, man. I ain't even going through all. I mean, land and more land. And these arteries are water canals and drainage systems that were in place for decades, man, centuries even. But I still to say to you, family, Barbados is such a beautiful. Look at this whole it's like a whole forest right here. You ain't got no houses in this area for miles, man. Just wooden forest area, untouched, perhaps who knows from how far back. Shout out to St. Andrew, by the way. My point, family, is there are people who want this nation, this rock that is known as Barbados today, that was only Barbados a few centuries. Prior to that, it was something else totally for a few thousands of years, but all of a sudden we call it Barbados. Let us be clear about something. There are individuals who want this by any means necessary. So while we sit down and fight each other, and we fighting our own brothers and sisters, there are plenty of qualified people in Barbados. They don't want to empower their own people and share that money. Of course not. And Jamaican Ras, I just returned from the vacation Jamaica. Said all across the Caribbean, man. Hi, brother. Shout out to you, Mr. Harewood. I know you for many years. You are about to skin the cat. He said about to skin the cat. Man, wait till I play the song next by Gabby, man. I gonna play that song with no question, man. Again, listen, family. If we today who live in cannot speak this truth to power, what are we doing for the sake of our children and for our children's children? What What type of foundation are we laying for them to build on when they watch us become cowards and bow down in front of this tyranny? Not because it's a political thing, I'm saying tyranny, but it's an invasion, family. We are being invaded. It's called it's called a hostile takeover. So they ain't come with a ship, they ain't come with soldiers and whatnot. What they have done is they got your own security forces against you. That's why you got the so-called, what they call itself now, Barbados Police Service and the Defense Service, or whatever they call themselves. The men with the guns to keep everybody in check. Well, everybody except you know who. Yeah, so people afraid, you know. Hey, Ross, you can't say that, Ross. You know, people are able to come for you. Well, let them come, family. Let them come. What they will not say, though, is that this man is afraid. Let them come. Because the faith I have is in the Almighty and knowing that I am here for this purpose. I know that I'm here for this purpose. I can do this no other way. You can't do this no other way. You have to know that this is what you're called to do and accept that calling accordingly. So know that they can do whatever they want to do, but this work will be done. Because when they really think about it, they're going to ask themselves, well, how comes? I mean, out the blue, this man told us back then, you can't say you didn't know Barbados. So my question to you is, are you being lied to, or is it that Barbadians don't know what to do? That song in 86 or 87, nah, Pedro, it was 85. It was 85 to my knowledge, but you might be a little younger than me, so you might know better. But we have some black skin acting mulatto. Maureen, I don't even know if I want to touch that, Maureen. I don't think they act in here. It might just be admiration. Understand, is a knowledge thing, man. They have to go intent for the people. The people of Barbados have to decide that they had enough and that they're looking to govern themselves. And they acknowledge the other government. Barbados has two governments. Yes, there's the BLP, DLP, and perhaps whoever other party want to join that fiasco charade. It doesn't matter which one. Doesn't matter which one puts themselves there. If they do select you to put you in that place, you're going to be given the same option. You're either going to take it or catch a David Thompson. It's that simple. Catch a Owen Arthur. You don't get removed because of unpopularity. You get removed because you no longer serve their purpose. He used to have some sense. They portray his as a culture ambassador. We keep the lot of secrets into the small island and use people as puppets. It's serious. Yes, I was in New York this weekend for the Barbadian Diaspora Weekend. Ralph was speaking at the event, and I see Ralph after he finished his pep talk. We had free drinks and free food. You know, babe, just love free drinks and free food, man. Mr. Thorne was in New York. What food are you talking about? I listened to his meeting online. Well, I don't know. I didn't see anything. I think that song is by Commando. Yeah, it's by Commando. You're correct, Mr. Lowe. But I think Gabby is who wrote the song, quite frankly. Yeah, Gabby did write the song. But maybe he contributed majorly in the writing of it, but the other brother performed it, perhaps. But he was already in that same competition that year, so I suppose he can have, he performed his song and then submit another song. But that song is an interesting song. Anyhow, let me just go forward. I can find it online anywhere at all. I'm not one for telling stupid, untrue happenings. No, Noel, we wasn't accusing you. I think Mr. Jilts was just answering the question. My children and grandchildren back. One thing I know, I ain't no slave to any politician. Straight up. Mulattoes can go to Trump land. They will pass as whites. They used to ship them to Trump land back in the days. They call them Creole. Mulatto, Creole, same thing. They had one purpose and one purpose only, to look like them but be strong like us. Eventually, Barbadians going to have to look for somewhere to live. Greetings to you, Thelma. Greetings. Good night, Thelma. Everyone watching, it's good to hear you. Good to see you. Shout out to all the folks in Atlanta, in New York, T-Dot, Toronto, England. Shout out to the matriarch, the mulattoes we have fighting for reparations. You mean like who you name? Commission? Noel, how you was Mr. Thorne, and you say you know come back from Jamaica. Mr. Jokes, he didn't know literally come back from Jamaica. I think that was a few months ago. He was in Jamaica. I don't think he meant literally just right now. But don't worry, Mr. Jokes. Noel he's a resident here, and I don't think he's going to say something that isn't truthful like that. But if I'm not mistaken, I'm sure folks have pictures of Mr. Thorne. I'm sure Mr. Thorne is going to clarify that himself at some point, that he did go to New York and was with the Barbadians community. If he wasn't, then, Noel is going to be exposed as who he is. Mulattoes move out, ultra wealthy move in. All of that is left. All that is left is the poor working class blacks. History repeating it. History repeating again. You see, Maureen, somebody get it. Somebody get it. I'm glad that somebody get it, man. Straight up, man. The Mulatto song is not available online. ChatGPT is unable to find it anywhere online, but it was written by Gabby, sung by Tony Commander Grisette. Listen, Brian, I give thanks. I give thanks. I give thanks. Like I said, how comes you can't find that song nowhere? I thought, not even the lyrics. It was moved from the record, man. Has been removed. Ivor, good night, family. Greetings, greetings. Everything. St. Clair accusing Arthur, his friend Mia, and her cronies doing the same thing and more. It's laughable to hear him. You gotta understand, this is 2007. At that time, see, it ain't laughable. It's laughable to hear him now. It's almost to the point where you laugh till you cry, because like this man was telling the truth here. We might have thought it was a joke then. I bet those who laughed then and laughing, I bet you those who laughed then and laughing now, I guarantee you who laughed then and laughed now. Who laughed last, who laughed last. Rose always said, who laughed last, just laugh the best. No one is talking about them Chinese criminals that are coming into Barbados without any checks or balances. Serious. I don't see nobody protesting that neither. Nobody ain't going up with them Chinese spots and saying a word. Not a word. Tony Grisette didn't post a content online. That could be why, Sean, really? Sean, really? It's politically incorrect, man. Be a little more intelligent than that, Sean. Don't write them sort of comments about here. In fact, you best being facetious. I know you. You being facetious, man. You think you funny. Yeah, that's probably why. That's exactly why it's not online. He did not post one of the biggest songs of his career. You're right. You're right. Knock on wood. For those who know. Whew. A lot of folks gonna miss that one. Today is the same private jet, all the taxpayers' money offshore. All other people come here when I ain't talking about them, but our Caribbean brothers running them out. It's crazy. That's what I'm telling you. Look, man. I try not to say much about other programs online. Not that I can't, because I can. What I would like to think is that perhaps some people are out of their league, man, that don't really get this. They're still in a stage where they are superficial and not really getting it. So I won't say that they're becoming an instrument or machine. Nah, I like to think that maybe they lack the spiritual knowledge, and they lack the knowledge and spiritual understanding. I think that's probably what I'm telling myself. That's what it is, man. Because I can't believe it half the time, man. I just heard today that we have a bunch offices of we have hold on. I just heard today that we have a branch office of Interpol in Barbados. Yeah, there's a forensic lab here coming too. Just know all this infrastructure being put in place. Truth can become uncomfortable. However, it's not for comfort. Never, for sure. Greetings to you, Rosemary Lane. How are you? Good to have you on Politically Incorrect tonight. For sure. Make sure you go tell a friend. Black skin can be mulattoes. Pedro said black skin can be mulattoes. It's a state of mind, I suspect, more so than a color, because we can't group and say that all white Bajans are this or that, because I know a lot of good people, period, that may fall into that category. And I know some that definitely, they made it clear where their position is. So there ain't no issue. So we can't say it's a mulatto thing. Mulatto is a state of mind, a way of thinking. You're good or you ain't good. It's that simple. So it ain't a color thing. And I agree, Pedro. Brethren, you're on the ball. 1985 was the year as I had Adonijah as the winner. Wow. Look, in fact, let me get to that song real quick, man. Let me go ahead because it's getting late. I'm out of here, man. Let me get to that tune real quick. Let me get to the tune. I have it here somewhere. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. So I just going to line it up real quick here, man, for my people. You know, Commander is Tony Gazette, who sang the song. This ain't Noel from Marcia Week. This ain't Noel from Marcia Week. Show. Wait. Ivor, don't say that. You say this is the Noel from Marcia Week show. Don't do that. Don't make it seem that way. I don't know if this is the same Noel from the sister show. I don't know what goes on over there like that. He would tell you, he would have to answer that question. I hear almost to the point where he won't crack up. I don't want. Listen, Ivor, behave, man. Don't start that. Don't do that. Everyone is fulfilling their calling according to what they're called to do. You know, so I don't know if he is on that program as well. Nevertheless, I'm sure he contributes in a meaningful way. If this is the same individual, I don't know. Dr. Gabert's signed culture and a new song, West Indian politician. Dr. Gabby signed culture and a new West Indian politician. Yes, and this is the song we're going to be playing tonight, Elder. I did a spin on it, though. I increased the play speed a bit. It's social commentary, so it's rather slow. I don't know if it was slowed down even more because it was uploaded, but in an effort to get around the AI and the spies who listen to the BPMs to determine the song and whatnot, I've sped it up a notch. So if it doesn't sound as close to the original in terms of speed, I like to think that the speed of that now is a decent speed. Well, tell me if it's okay, but I'm going to play this in a second. Yes, Mr. Taylor, it's him. Oh, it is the same Noel. Okay, Mr. Noel said on the show last night he has a plane to catch. I not even, listen, stop it. Don't, y'all behave, man. I also love that song, and I want a plantation. You and I both want plantations, man. But you know what? We're going to have to simply take them. Let's start with Drax Hall. Let's take Drax Hall. I've been saying that for a while, right? At some point, you know what? I done talk.
When I tell you the PLP and the NDP, all talking one philosophy, you get out there and you cuss. Now you live to see all them political animals on the loose. That all the broilers coming home to roost. You call Gabby and Papi Show, talking about things that we don't know. After you rape and you throw your blow, to smile is inflated ego. Now you embarrassed cause you have to admit it openly. Politicians making much for that way. Spend the calendar, Brady, or even Amir Ashley. Them is politicians making much for that way. This do to
All right, real quick little interlude. So I'm gonna let this tune play, and I'm gonna ease out quietly for the evening. Want to thank those for tuning in and sharing their thoughts and comments. Write the comments below, though. You know, should we deport the foreigners? Trump deporting Caribbean people? I mean, family, this thing going to a whole nother level. Just a question. Write with your thoughts below. That'd be interesting. Let me know if you like the program as well. Make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend. Share it. I was told to say it. I'm going to say it again. I hope you're happy. Yes, mom, I'm saying it. My mom said I should tell people that. You know, I don't normally talk about family, but I love you much, mom. Give thanks for watching always. You know, you're my inspiration. You was always a warrior woman. And no matter what, you know what I'm saying, I am forever eternally grateful for being your son. Thank you. You know. So Haile Selassie first, Empress Reserve Menin, one perfect balance family. Um, family, this is Gabby in this tune. But I want y'all to listen to the lyrics, listen to the message. Somebody said Gabby's a hypocrite. All men are sinners, man. We ain't getting to that, Mr. Jills. We not here to cast blame per se, but you know, we ain't getting into that. You know, my thing is, like I said, even a broken clock is right twice a day. So even if he is the biggest hypocrite, at some point, you know, like Sinclair, he was telling the truth.
Check out the historic context. But when you do it, don't get vexed. It is nothing that complex. It calls for simple theory. All since the days of Randy Adams, Judah, and Harold Barrow. Politicians switching up on the floor. Oh, Adams left the Progressive League Party. Went and formed the PLP. In them days, Barrow close to he. One day rice, one day gravy. One big bassa out. The next thing the people know. A new party, the MP by Barrow. Oh, but Adams had a son they called Tom. Boy, what a political storm. But at least I could say about he live and dead through me. Sorry, but I can't say the same thing for that fella Richie. He's a politician making much more than me. You know why? He was a D and NDP, but now he gone with the P. He's a politician. He's a politician making much more than me. Oh, skip my body, me. Madame Pedro. Oh, still in it, Woo! 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 Ha! Yeah! Woo! They had a race in the city involving Gabby and Billy. That come as on a fly by night. Push himself in the damn fight. I want the people that boy would get up and cut their throats. They still went and give him 1,000 votes. I hope you're making your notes. My friend believe in unmercifully. 1,700 went to she. 907 to me. I can read that completely. But this past election, come as on me, canvassing for me. He's a politician making much older me. And Pando find out quickly, he can't beat Billy in the city. He's a Indian making much more than me. Look it. Frankfurt would like St. Joseph Hospital operating at me. He's a politician making much more than me. Hear me. Finger advertising alcohol and gambling daily. He's a teaching comedian making much more than me. Hear me. A classic night that sing the sun song every year, still in the monarchy. He's a Calypsonian making much more than me. Hear me? The man say he's suffering from stress, but he only frightened for me, Gabby. He's a Calypsonian making much more than me. But hear me now, listen here, that boy inside my own son sing of me to gain popularity. Look, he's an ungrateful pity making sport like daddy. Oh, and I come here tonight to tell you all people, you can't take my car from me. I am the only one who will make it sport that nobody